Text in InDesign is not unlike Adobe Illustrator. There's actually lots of similarities. So in this video, I'm going to dabble a little bit with text, show you the similarities, but maybe also a couple differences. So first, let's open a new file. So come over here and click New File. And then what I want to do is I actually want to set up an 11 by 17 poster. So I'm going to choose inches over here at units. And mine's already set up, but yours most likely is not. So just make sure that your width is set to 17 inches. Your height is set to 11 inches. You have landscape highlighted in blue in the orientation. And I also have my margins set to 0. So if yours is at 0.5, go ahead and change those to 0. Once you have everything looking like my screen, let's go ahead and hit Create. Alright, the text tool in the toolbar looks exactly like Illustrator's text tool, so that's kind of nice and handy. And for the most part, it pretty much behaves the same as well. So you're going to go ahead and click on the tool, and you'll notice your cursor changes to indicate it's ready to start doing text. Just click and drag a text box. However, in InDesign, we call these fields instead of boxes. But go ahead and click it and let go of your mouse, and you'll notice the cursor's up in the left-hand corner of that, ready to be typed. Let's go ahead, let's create a poster title for this document. So I'm just going to type interior design. That's a lovely title to a poster. And I'm going to highlight that text so that then I can come up here to the ribbon, which did change once you hit the text tool, and I can update the text. I'm going to use Copper Plate Gothic Bold. You feel free to use whatever text font that you like. And then I'm also going to change that to like 72 point. Nice and big, but what you'll notice is that it kind of wrapped my text around because my text box isn't long enough for that size of text. So I'm going to use my black arrow, and you should see then that the grips appear on the text field. I'm going to go ahead and drag this to the right, enough so that interior design fits well within that. The first rule of working with text is to always keep your text field close to your text. We don't want it hanging too far because we might be putting shapes or other text, and it can really affect the usability of InDesign if we don't keep these kind of nice and snug to the text. So something kind of like that. And then you should notice too that you can use your black arrow to move this text around as you need to. So I'm just going to go ahead and place it up towards the top where a title naturally goes on a poster. So now we have a nice title. Let's pretend that we are going to add a paragraph of text. So let's start another text field. So click on the text tool. This time I'm going to drag out, let's say that I want text like on the left side of this entire poster. Wow, that's going to be a lot of text. You're going to find out fast that I don't really like a lot of text on posters, but this is just for demonstration. So I'm going to go ahead and click there, and again the cursor starts at the top left. Now I currently don't know what kind of text I want here. I just know that there's going to be text. So if I want to put a placeholder in there so that I can kind of see what the text would look like, I can go up to Type in the menu, and then come all the way down to where it says Fill with Placeholder Text. Click on that, and you'll see that a bunch of turkey gibberish filled in that text field. It kind of looks like a turkey went all over in there, right? Well, that's what I call it anyway. So that is how you can fill a text box with some fake words that just kind of helps you see what it's going to look like. Now what happens if we need to make this text field a bit smaller, or if we need to make it a different shape? I'm going to go ahead and click on the black arrow, which does get those grips to show up, and you can readjust this text box. So if you want it a little skinnier, there we go. However, as you scroll down, you should notice that it kind of cut off a sentence at the very bottom. And there's also this little red square with a plus sign in it that showed up. That just indicates that, hey, there's actually more text that should be appearing, but it just doesn't all fit into this field. So they call that overset text in InDesign. So really you have two options. You can adjust the field so that all the text starts showing up inside, and that little red box goes away. So right there, that box went away, so that is the last sentence in this. Or, just to kind of show you, I'm going to make that kind of skinny again. If you actually click on that red box, you'll notice that some text attaches to your cursor. So that's all the text that is hidden in this text field. What you can do is you can click separately. It does make a text box, and it does kind of do weird things, but it makes its own separate text box, and all that leftover text shows up in that second text field. So it's up to you to decide if this is what you want, or if you want to go back and readjust this. And you'll notice how they're connected if you do readjust it. So the less or more, it just kind of automatically knows how to fill it in accordingly. So that's kind of nice. Just keep in mind that it's important not to break up sentences from one field to another. So you might need to do some post adjustments. So like you can kind of see that this sentence down here only has 2 words here. It might be that you need to adjust it so these 2 words come over here, and then this new sentence starts in this one. Just kind of a professional thing to do. Now, speaking of post adjustments, I don't know if you can tell, but the turkey gibberish, and actually I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. So just highlight it with your black arrow and hit delete on your keyboard. But the turkey gibberish actually has a lot of hyphens at the end of the sentences on the right-hand side. That is very unprofessional to let there be hyphens in any of your paragraphs. So a hyphen just means that the word doesn't fit there, so the computer breaks the word into 2 places, but honestly we don't want that. We want the program to just have the word that doesn't fit go on to the next line. So to fix that, and let me just grab this, I'm going to readjust it so all the text shows up. You have to use the text tool. Now I could come over here and click on the text tool, but I can also double click on the text, and that instigates the text tool. Highlight the text. You always have to highlight it if you want to adjust it. And then come up to type and choose paragraph. After you hit type and choose paragraph, this little window pops up, and at the very bottom left-hand corner you see hyphenate and a check mark. Go ahead and uncheck that, and you'll notice that the hyphens on the right side all go away, and the text adjusts itself. That's exactly what we wanted it to do. So go ahead and click X on this, and then you're good to go. So we kind of understand that the black arrow allows you to adjust the general size and shape of the text field. The white arrow will allow you, if you can get it to behave itself, sometimes you have to click on it and click off of it again, but it will allow you to grab the grip and kind of make a fun shape out of it. And then you'll notice how the text kind of sculpts around that shape. So again, if you want to like maybe create a rhombus for your text to go into, you definitely can. But do you see how it gets a little harder to read as it gets a little more funky in your shape? So don't get too crazy with it, but maybe you can just kind of adjust it. There we go, that's a nice rhombus. And it's also indicating that we still have text kind of showing up, so we can always make our text field a little bit bigger. And then that little red box went away. So that's how you can kind of play with your text a little bit and have a little fun with the shape. Now what's to say that maybe you want to put the text into a circle shape? We can easily do that by using the frame tool, which is located right underneath the icon that looks like a pencil. You should see a rectangle frame tool, so it's a rectangle with an X in it. And if you hover your mouse, it says rectangle frame tool. Ooh, You should notice that on the bottom right hand corner of this icon is a little arrow. That indicates a hidden panel of some kind. So let's go ahead and click and hold on your mouse until that panel shows up, and then you can click off. And you can see that there's an ellipse frame tool you can work with, and there's also a polygon frame tool that you can work with. Let's go ahead and choose the ellipse. I'm going to come over here to the right side, and I'm just going to kind of drag out, and you can see that you can make it very elliptical. If you hold the shift button, it will turn it into a perfect circle. So I'm going to go ahead and do a circle, and I'm going to let go, and that little X appears. So again, that just indicates that this is a frame and it's not a shape. And frames are great because you can put text or pictures inside the frame. So in the next video, I'm going to show you pictures. But to make sure that InDesign understands that this needs to be a text frame, all you have to do is take the text tool and click inside of that frame, and it automatically assigns it as a text frame. Now I could go ahead and start typing if I wanted to, but I'm actually going to go ahead and use the fill with placeholder text. And there it has completed this circle with the text. I do see some hyphenation. So again, I have to come in here and I have to go to type and paragraph and uncheck hyphenate. But that is how you can have text form in the shape of a circle. The last thing I want to show you is that sometimes it can be kind of hard to see what this is going to look like when it prints, because these blue lines that form the text field, they actually don't print. So if you want to see a preview of what it looks like, you got to come down to the very bottom of the toolbar, and there's this little icon right here with a hidden panel. Click and hold it, and then you should see like presentation. If you go ahead and click on presentation, that will show you exactly what it's going to look like when you go to print without those text fields showing. To get out of this, just hit escape on your keyboard and you're back into the original. I think you can also do preview. Let's look at preview. Yeah, preview will also do that for you. So it just, I think presentation goes full screen, whereas preview still keeps it inside of the InDesign interface. So either one works, but I'm going to go back to normal, and that's how I can see my text field. In a nutshell, that is all that you need to know about text in InDesign, at least for the purposes of interior design poster making, and we are on to the next video.